GLM 2.5 is out, and this is huge. Not just because it's an incredible good model, but also because it's a massive attack to those business models for those large corporations. Let me explain, because there is a lot to unpack here. First of all, this is, of course, a 1 million context window, okay, and so we have all the requirement that we want, but plus there is a MIT open source license, okay. This is no restriction, no limits, no borders. You can do anything that you want with this. But a lot of people have been talking about this model in the last couple of days, because this is comparable to Opus 4.8 and sometimes better than GPT 5.5. Okay, so if you see what's going on here, it's pretty insane. Now, of course, we need to test it because we can't trust what a benchmark is saying, but to test it, there is a couple of things. One, ZAI has a coding plan, so you can go here and subscribe if you want to. Here they are priced for monthly, quarterly, and yearly. I personally don't suggest to use a yearly plan. I have the Minimax yearly plan, and I realize that those models are just going up and down, in the sense there are, now this GLM is better than Minimax. Maybe there is another one coming out. So getting stuck with one single plan, a year plan, is a little bit too much. Maybe a quarterly makes sense. Monthly also makes sense. So, but what I suggest using instead, if you want to test it, is the OpenRouter. Okay, OpenRouter is an incredible platform. I'm gonna spend a couple of minutes explaining what it is, because it's they do something that I really care about, which is a way to pay the token with the cryptocurrency. Now, why this is important? Okay, there is 1.7 billion people in this planet without bank account, and if you want to use anything on the internet, okay, so those whatever frontier model, whatever API key from another company, you need to be able to pay with your bank account. Okay, here there is ability to pay with cryptocurrency. Okay, so now anyone on this planet can actually use AI because of this. Okay, this is huge, and therefore I like this company. It's that simple. But let's go back, because we need to look about how it works. Okay, so you, for example, today I just loaded $10 within this system, and now I have access to hundreds of models. I can also add my own API, because what they do, they route your signal within the different model according to what is better for the prompt that you send. It's something that I need to explore more, but in theory, from my understanding, you can add also your local model. So even if you have a lot of different local model, you can add the API for them, maybe your subscription, and maybe use some model from them, and then you can have this. Of course, is compatible with Hermes, Kilo, and OpenCode, and Cloud Code. OpenClaw, that's the name. I stopped using it, so I just gone in my mind. So this is beautiful. Plus, there is another thing that I want to show you, because there is a ranking. Okay, you can see what people are being using. And also we can see that GLM 5.2, because it's new, but it's already number 14. My bet is in the next few days and weeks, we will see it on the top 3. Pretty sure that it's gonna get, high up there for sure. So if you see, there is also why there is DeepSeek version 4 Flash versus the Pro that is better in this way, because this is the number of leaderboard for the number of token, for my understanding, that being used. Yes, and therefore this is cheaper, so there are a lot of people using it. Minimax is also a really good deal, so this is why they are here. Anyway, that is also a really good way. If you don't know what you should use, have a look about this and already give you kind of an idea of what is worth using it. But remember, this is not how smart it is, but the number of tokens that are being used. So because on the top you will see models that are cheaper because you make them run for longer, and maybe then have a bigger model fixing the code, whatever strategy. Okay, but that is the idea that you need to look into. But I want to show you this other website because this is this is artificial analysis .ai that shows us what is happening with those models. Okay, so as an intelligence, we can see that, let me zoom in a little bit, put it here. So we can see the Cloud Fable is just a little bit better than GPT 5.5. Okay, it's 5 points better. At this level, you start to feel it. Okay, I'm not saying that is nothing 5 points, but it's there. And then we have GLM 5.2. So here in the top, okay, pretty high, and that is the challenge to their business model. But what is more interesting, again, the challenge to their business model, is this level of I don't know, I would call it robbery, $3.25 versus GPT 5.5, 0.83. This is almost a quarter of the price. And then you see GLM 5.2 at half of GPT 5.5, which is basically 1/8 of the cost of Fable. Okay, that is something to consider. So if you see Minimax is down here because it's pretty cheap. Now this is a sort of contradiction because I see that it's even cheaper the Pro than Minimax, but people love Minimax. Anyway, so another thing that I want to show you is this graph. Okay, why I want to show this is because you can edit what it shows in here. So I added a couple of models that can run on our local hardware and compare to what is out there, because now we start to see a sort of shift in what is possible to achieve with cloud AI. Okay, before we were looking at those frontier model, and with a big step back, we would have our open source models. But now, because we had DeepSeek coming out recently and GLM 5.2, now we see that we start to see extremely good model, including Minimax, on the top 10 best model. And let's understand this thing, okay? So we said the GLM 5.2 is around 700 billion parameters. DeepSeek is 1.6 billion parameters. Minimax is around, I think, 400 billion parameters. Then we have GPT and Opus. They don't tell us the number, but there is an estimation of GPT and Opus around 2-3 trillion parameters. And Cloud Fable 5, it should be around at least double. There are some people that say it's within the 10 billion parameters. But it could be around 6, 8, something like this, okay? But what is weird now is this is 700, this is 300-400, and they are there, okay? The gap is not huge. That is the problem that those corporations are now facing. That it's really hard to justify their business model. At the moment, what they were doing, it works in this way. They create a business that requires an insane amount of money to run it. Why is this? Because in this way, there is a kind of a gate to get in. Okay, you need to have billions getting invested inside your corporation, and you need to must keeping those billions coming. That is not an easy job, okay? And therefore, make it so hard, so expensive, means that majority of people, 99.9999% of people, won't make it. Okay, that is the thing. So they create their moat was connected to this. Okay, make it so expensive that will be impossible for having competition. So this is why we see 2-3 company competing for the spot, and even company like Meta, they are not there. We don't see them. They are not there. Okay, it's this is Meta. Okay, that is show how hard it is actually to get there, even with money. So that was their strategy and was working until now we have those Chinese model, actually much smaller, achieving incredible results. I want to share now another thing, because those are the models that require a cloud, okay? They are too big to run on our hardware. Saying that, there is a way to run a GLM 5.2 on a Mac Studio, max out, okay, so you need a 512 gigabyte of RAM, and you need to run this model extremely quantized, so 80% of the quality of the model. And you also can run Minimax on those hardware. But another thing, they will run slow, okay, so have this in mind, but it's possible to run them locally. If you have machine that are much more powerful, okay, you invest $50,000-$100,000, then you can run them properly. So $100,000, yes, correctly. You can run them properly, but it requires, a serious investment. That for a corporation is possible, and for some people makes sense, because in that way they have an incredible model running locally. Data never leave their premises, 100% compliance with regulation and so on. But I added to this chart, because you can go here and edit, I added some of the model that actually can run on hardware like this one, okay? So more consumer hardware. This is an equivalent of the Spark, DGX Spark. Those machines vary, the price keep changing, okay? But this specific one, I bought it for 3,300 euros, and including tax, okay? Now it's 1,000 euros more expensive. So it's the price is going up, but this is the level of hardware you need. Now, there are different things, okay? Different opinions. I'm not going to go into the details. You can achieve some incredible work with optimization with different card, but if you want to have something that go fast, you need to have maybe an Nvidia card and so on. So the price that you're gonna spend, it's around probably from the 3,000 upwards. Price are going higher and higher. If you have old hardware, you can optimize it and try to make it run. But the point here is all I want to share here is that this is what we can run on our system. Okay, on this hardware that I have, I can run the Qwen 3.6 27 billion, the Qwen 3.6 35 billion A3B, really comfortably and really reliably at a really good speed, 50, 60, even more, sometimes a token per second. This one instead, the 27 billion, only around 10, 15 token per second. But then there is the Gemma model, okay? Where is it? The Gemma 4, 31 billion, and the Gemma 4, 26 billion. Now, when this Gemma came out, I was really impressed, and I was running the 26 billion. I was like, wow, this is so great. Then I tested the 35 billion, and I said, wow, this is actually much better. And now I see the numbers. There is a reason. It's like almost double. It's double better. The problem here is this Qwen 3.6 is 27 billion. It's an ideal machine because it can run on a 35 gigabyte of RAM with 180,000 token context window, which is pretty decent. And for example, if you run it on a RTX, I think it's called RTX 5090, can run at around 60-70 tokens per second, which is extremely good. Smaller, slower one can run it half of the speed, but this is a pretty good model. And this is what we are available on our system. Now, we are looking at the agentic, okay? Then there is a coding and intelligence. So have a look at this website, it's really interesting. But what I wanted to say is to focus is on this ability of those models to run on our machine, and they are really, really good. Okay, still not as good as those frontier model. So now the question here is, okay, I didn't want to use Anthropic, I don't like OpenAI and so on, okay, but now I have an option, okay, and these change a lot, okay, this is why I'm saying there is an attack on this business model, because a lot of people are against those corporations that have been doing things in the completely wrong way. Okay, Anthropic is doing a mess with this, layer, kind of, there is a 3-layer citizen for them, okay? The one that are their friends, that they can use methods, okay? They decide who can use it and who cannot, okay? So this elite. Then there is people with a lot of money that can afford to use their subscription. Okay, when I say a lot of money, I'm talking about in the sense of the world. Okay, I'm part of that category, but it doesn't mean that a lot of money compared to the picture of the world. So some people can use it. Most of the people on this planet they find the $200 subscription extremely expensive, and then there are. The third category is the people that don't have access to internet or access to this kind of finance, because Anthropic is actively going against open source software. They really want to stop it. So they are against the idea that you could have your own AI model. So because of this reason, it's from my point of view, it's easy to say I don't want to work with Anthropic. That is the idea, okay? So there is a lot of people that don't want to go in that direction, don't want to finance that kind of business model. But they were stuck between, okay, frontier model, it's sort of a must because you can have access to this extremely high intelligence, but then you are needed to, the compromise to work with this corporation that you don't like. Now, GLM 5.2, it's telling us a different story. And that is why this moment is pretty exciting. Now, I tested this, okay? I gave a huge prompt to 3 different models. I gave it to GPT 5.5, I gave it to GLM 5.2 and the Minimax version 3. I gave this prompt to build a game. The idea here was I give you one single shot game prompt to build this HTML game. And the result was interesting because we had OpenAI working at Medium, doing a decent job, but at a speed that is insane. It took 8 minutes and 15, okay? Opened in Comet, and this is the game. So I'm gonna just share a little bit so you can see what is doing. New game. This is the game. Start, press to continue. Okay, I'm gonna get smashed by these people. But okay, I'm gonna go here, press the bar. Okay, no. So this is what this game is about. Okay, oops. So it's working. Okay, this one single shot and create this game that is multi-level. and now I can choose what to get. Movement speed rise by 18%, for example. Okay. Now I'm not gonna win, I'm gonna die, and I want to share to you what I managed to do with game over. Okay. What I did with the other models. Okay, this is when running on open code, and let me see if it tells the time that it took. Maybe we don't know, but it's here 19 minutes and 7 seconds, and this is Minimax that took 18 minutes and 52 seconds. So beginning the trial. Okay, so loading. This is the GLM. Okay, start has this different way of attacking. 1 out of 3, and no, all right. Okay, managed to pass the channel. So you decide the next thing, and then again second level. Okay, I already a little bit tested those up, but you can see that it's they're pretty much similar, and maybe you can argue that actually this is better than okay, I'm gonna die. Let's die. That you might argue that this is actually, I thought I was dying, but that's actually a part of me. That's my shield or something. This Minimax, again, this is a one single shot prompt. Okay, I'm gonna share in the description the link of a deep dive article where you can find the prompt that I used. So now you can see that there is a little problem, that the window is not full screen, but we have a map, which is nice, and the rest is more or less the same. It's not shooting for some reason, but when I tried the first time, it actually was shooting. Why is not shooting? Anyway, so this is Minimax. Okay, you can see there is a step back, but not that huge. Apart of the fact that it's not used to shoot. I don't know why, because I used to do it in the past. I don't know why. I need to use the mouse. Now I see. Sorry, I was with the mouse outside the system. So if you see now, it's not a huge difference. Even with Minimax on, which is much smaller, it's not a huge difference with the other models. Now, I'm really curious to see what when 3.6 27 billion would do. So in the future video, we'll use the same prompt and see what's happened. Anyway, thanks for staying at the end. Like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Ciao.